Earlier this morning, I did a review of the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode, The Perfect Pair. Now, this episode is not supposed to hit the U.S. until maybe next week, maybe after the hiatus, I don't know. But from what I saw, this episode, The Perfect Pair, definitely, how do I put this? Definitely acknowledged one thing. And that it, along with the season 5 episode Main Attraction, it acknowledged one thing. And that is both episodes, depending on the creative staff and the people that write the script for it, it seems that when you have these episodes come around, and it seems that these episodes are Applejack related, or at least are centered around or relate to Applejack in some way, you seem to get a bit of realism to them. You seem to get a bit of realism to them, and you sort of get something that you could base in reality, that you can base almost in reality, because in reality, these stories can be very relatable. With Main Attraction, everybody can relate to seeing a long-lost friend that they haven't seen in a long time, even though they promise to keep in contact with them post-education, post-camp, whatever. And yet, even after keeping in contact with them for a while, you end up losing that contact. And then when you finally see them again, they've either succeeded in becoming something that maybe your newer friends and confidants or confidants might know about and you don't. Or maybe switch it around, you end up becoming that success that their confidants, their friends may know about, but they don't. And even though when you see them again, you can still see that there's still remnants of that old friend that you knew throughout all of your preschool to high school education, if not your summer camp, if not your whole summer camp run, you still see remnants and all that of that old friend. And you're glad to see that, but yet at the same time, you start noticing things are different about them. And either you can accept the fact that, hey, they're still them. It's just that now they're more this way than the other. Or sometimes, and this is reality, sometimes this is something that happens in reality, sometimes you or they have to approach each other, like they have to approach you or you have to approach them and say, hey, look, I'm happy with all this. I'm happy you're doing this, but maybe you need to start trying to be yourself. Maybe you need to be yourself just for once to see what happens. Just be yourself and you might be surprised. And again, for a lot of us, especially here on YouTube, that's easier said than done. But here's the thing. We're not afraid to come out and be ourselves. There are some of us that come on here on YouTube and we're not afraid to be ourselves. And like I said, it's easier said than done, but yet we still accept it. And we have people out there that are happy to hear what we have to say, are happy to see what we have to talk about. And there might be others that don't. And those that don't sometimes we can relate to the manager of to the manager that Rara had in Swift Gallop. Swift Gallop didn't really like the fact that Rara would always go to these charity events and always want to meet with these school ponies. All he cared about was how good it made him, how good he looked out of it. He didn't care or give one hoot, if you will, about Rara and what she would go through every day. Basically, it was like, it's about me and nobody else. And, people could relate someone like Swift Gallup to the people on YouTube, the people on the internet, the trolls, if you will, that basically like to mess with you and leave unflattering comments because they don't like the fact that you're being yourself. They'd rather you be someone you're not. And the main attraction, in a sense, kind of puts reality, that's where the reality that comes from the main attraction, because you can relate to that, in a sense. You can relate to the situations. And then you got Perfect Pear. Again, not to give much away, but this is synopsis, and from what people have already seen and maybe commented about and so on, the Perfect Pear is definitely something you can base in reality as well. Because there's a lot of families, a lot of grandkids, great-grandkids, great-great-grandkids that want to know more about their family history, want to know more about why this happened or why that happened, or why they seem to act like this, why they seem to act one way, and a sibling or a cousin seems to act another. It's like, where did they get it from? Where can it be traced? A lot of families can relate to that. And to me, it's like the people that write these episodes, from Amy Rogers on The Main Attraction to Joanna Scott and I think Christine Songa, I think that's the other lady's name, writing Perfect Pear. It's like you could sense that you can sense that they are basing it more in reality. Now, they could have used any other pony. They could have used Rarity. They could have used Rainbow Dash. They could have used Fluttershy. They could have used Pinkie Pie, Twilight, but they didn't. Heck, they even could have gone with Spike if they want to, or Starlight, but they didn't. Instead, they went what possibly I consider, or they might even consider, and many fans might consider, the more realistic, down-to-earth, reality-based pony and character that they can come up with, and that's Applejack. Because not only does this answer a question a lot of fans have been wanting to know about, okay, who were Applejack's parents? How'd they come to, how'd they meet? How did, what happened? But this is something that, again, is based more on reality than we can imagine. And again, you can almost tell that writers like Christine Songen and Joanna Scott and Amy Rogers, when it came to the two individual stories, based them in reality. Now, I don't know if maybe someone like Joanna Scott and Christine Songen, when they wrote this, not only did they base it more in a reality-like setting, but maybe they wrote it from a personal experience. We don't know. But when I look at these two, and there's a lot of people that will agree that these two episodes are the top, the two top Applejack episodes to come out of the series, if not two of the top, maybe 10 episodes overall right now as far as the series goes, you could see why people would think that way. Because like I said, main attraction, what I mentioned there, people could relate to. And it could relate to on a very real life based situation. Same with Perfect Pear. You want to know how your families came to be. And there's always something from the past that makes you curious, or makes someone in your family curious as to wanting to know why this happened. Why this, feud, or why this disagreement or whatever came to be. So you want to know, you want to find out. And there's a lot of real life situations that people could relate, that this episode relates to when it comes to that. And like I said, I don't know if the two writers of this episode did it from a personal experience or what, but for the fact that this is one of those episodes that if network television still had Saturday morning cartoons, these would be the two episodes, and I'm talking over-the-air broadcast network television, like ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. if they still had Saturday morning cartoons, and let's say Friendship is Magic was on one of those on one of those networks Saturday morning lineups, this would be one of those episodes, along with Main Attraction, that one of those networks would put on the night before on a Friday night as a primetime special, especially in the summer. Why? Because they know this by the promoting the synopsis, promoting the preview and the synopsis behind it, they'll probably get enough viewers to sit back and watch the episode. It's a fact. It is a fact. And these are the kind of episodes, Perfect Pair, Main Attraction, that let's say Friendship is Magic's on CBS Saturday mornings. CBS would air these the night before on a Friday night as a animated primetime special because of the reality of the realism that a lot of people, a lot of families and friends could relate to. So to me, it seems to me that when it comes to a character like Applejack, and I'm not saying they can't do this with any other characters. I mean, you could say that they kind of did something based somewhat in reality with Rainbow Dash and how how her parents could be too overbearing and too overexcited for her, even up to, the fact that she's grown up and on her own and doing her own thing with the Wonderbolts. In real life, a lot of people could relate to Rainbow Dash being a little embarrassed and all that, and trying to convince and being angry, if not try to convince the parents, hey, look, I appreciate the support and everything, but you guys don't have to be so over exuberant. But then in the end, realizing that it didn't matter what they did, they were always proud of them. So there is a reality base there with Rainbow Dash, but like I said, it's like I said, nothing against any of the other characters. They could do stories like this based around them. There is no doubt. But when you take a look at these Applejacks related centered episodes, I don't think you could get more down to earth, more reality based than with these two. There's no doubt about it. You could say Hearthbreakers with her and Pinkie Pie, and even Pinkie Apple Pie, the one that preceded it, could be reality based somewhat. But, not like in the adventure they go through in Pinkie Apple Pie to find out the truth. But you could kind of see a bit of reality there too. Like the differences between both families in Hearthbreakers. To the fact that even in reality, there's always going to be some kind of connection, but yet you don't get the full honest answer that you want, because there's always something missing, or there's always something there's always like a piece still missing, and that without that piece, it still is up in the air whether or not you could be related to this person or not. And you could say that those two episodes could rank up there as well, and there's no doubt they probably do. But as far as like the top two, if not tied at number one, and as far as character related centric episodes, I'd have to say right at the top, maybe tied at number one, would have to be the Applejack episodes of Main Attraction, and now recently Perfect Pair. The fact that you have a situation that in reality many people could understand and relate to, and even if you have your young viewers watching it, your original intended audience watching and wondering exactly what this is about, it gives them a chance to ask questions and maybe wonder, hey, what about our family history? Is there any kind of feud that we were part of? Is there is there a relative that we may have but we don't know of because of something happened? You could have an episode like Perfect Pair could have, young kids become curious about that and want to ask questions. And not only does it kind of give that educational kind of feel to it that a lot of people hope it would, but it also basically shows, but it also again proves the reality that it bases itself in. So overall, when I look at both these episodes, out of all the episodes so far in the past several years, character-centric and related, these two rank right at the very top. There's no doubt about it. As far as Applejack-related centric episodes, same thing. And again, like I said, they could do this with any character. They could still do it with any character. But I think it's going to be hard for them to top the Applejack, top the ones with Applejack and her family. So, Applejack and her friend. So, to me, as crazy as this sounds, Applejack is probably the most relatable, realistic pony or MLP character of the main six that's on this show. She really is. And I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. So let me know what you guys think down below. If anybody from Amy Rogers to Ashley Ball to anybody, maybe Joanna Scott and Christine Solgan, I'm sorry if I pronounced that name wrong, are listening. Let me know what you think. Comment below. And if Joanna Scott and Christine Solgan and Amy Rogers are watching, I want to say thank you for giving us these two reality-based or more real-life-based episodes as far as a character like Applejack goes with Main Attraction and Perfect Pear. So let me know what you all think down below. Comment if you like. I'm out.